It's at least like not too tricky. Like the issue is comments that are like, "Hey, I like Wardy because that other channel, they're just so dumb and they suck," or they're like, I really don't like this channel. They just never do anything. Like, just like, you just don't need to have the negatives on the other channel. It's just a fine line, because even though some of those comments aren't too bad, it just triggers the next guy to be like, "Yeah, you're right, they're fucking wankers. We don't know why anyone watches them. Like, they're just the worst thing on the planet." Like, it just triggers people to start talking like that, which is always a shame, because then we have to deal with it. Anyways, we do have to the top left-hand side. Our red Terran player, it is ByuN. To the bottom right-hand side, our blue Terran player, give it up for KeeN. Hey Wardy, can't wait for the team leak, says as can be. Any spicy team roster changes spoiled through the sign-ups? Not really. I will say that one team I'm very looking forward to is Cool Guys and Roddy, which I believe is Rotterdam's team. I'm not 100% sure of their entire lineup. But it does involve M. Canning. So M. Canning and Roddy are currently making a bit of a dream team at the moment, it seems. Be interesting to see how they end up, or who ends up in there. Should be pretty awesome. I actually have very low signups for the Team League right now, honestly, so you guys should spread the hype around. Tell your teams to sign up, tell your friends' teams to sign up. We need to get a whole bunch of signups still. We are going to be pushing. I'm going to be pushing a lot. I'm going to be putting a lot of time in the next couple of days to push for that and get some cool signups into play. Alright, so this TvT is starting, and both players in very different setups already here. With ByuN going for the Reaper expansion, meanwhile at home KeeN will be going for the double gas into a faster factory, and already a Cyclone on the way out, so double Reaper into a Cyclone, while ByuN, well, he does have double, well actually a Reaper and a Marine, and then into his reactor and his own factory on the way up. So let's see if ByuN can set up into a nice defensive position here in these early stages, or let's see how exactly this will go. Again, a best of 5, the winner goes into the championship bracket, lower bracket, the loser will be eliminated from the OSC championship in the top. I guess right now where we've eliminated, what, eliminated 12, so I guess you finish kind of 32nd, 33rd to 38th. Again, there's 50 players in the OSC Championship that qualified for OSC points in 2017. A couple of Reapers here from KeeN moving up this left-hand side, looking to see what they can do. Couple of Reapers poking forwards, and so far, well, the Cyclone is the one thing that will really change things. We're going to be seeing the changing things up right now, and ByuN is already evacuating his natural expansion. So, evacuating the natural, 2 Reapers and a Cyclone here, dealing some damage. There's a Cyclone on the way from ByuN, so he'll be okay here in a moment. Even the Hellion backing this up from KeeN. Kobe now goes into a Liberator, his own CC building up on the low ground. He might go free CC from this point, starting the 3rd CC in the main very shortly. It's something you can do very easily once you already have the units out to defend with in these early stages from the kind of more aggressive opening with the slower initial natural expansion. Another Cyclone will start. You can see this SCV is waiting around. It's going to drop the 3rd command center, so there it is. And this 3rd CC begins to be established here. As now we're going to be seeing ByuN starting to move forwards. A few Marines going to be trying to catch some of those units, but the Reaper grenades are good to defend. And as units move out from ByuN, he's going to be caught a little bit off guard perhaps by this Liberator moving into the main base. So Liberator is going to be sieging up here as that Reaper kills off an SCV, so just slow down that expansion, and ByuN is going to get some scouting of his own as he continues to get aggressive. Again, this Liberator gets taken down now by a Cyclone. Now ByuN is here with Marines and a Cyclone of his own. 2 Cyclones though from KeeN, and that should be enough to defend this. Again, it's nice to be able to delay this base, but well, we'll see what he can do. I mean, some nice micro on the medevac so far, but in the end he does just have to back away, and he's pulling on up towards the upper left-hand side. The 2 Marines and the Cyclone going to gather up here. The Viking going to move on through as well. A couple of command centers continuing to build, and the factory will load up and land over onto the reactor in the next couple of moments. So factory lands onto the reactor here, and we're just going to be seeing 2 Cyclones on the way. KeeN's been playing the mass Cyclone openings and style a lot here recently. And that's what he's going to be continuing to go for as we see ByuN. A little bit later on the 3rd CC though. We're currently 7 to 8 workers ahead. Definitely needs to be kind of KeeN ahead on the third CC. Otherwise, he's going to really struggle in economy. As ByuN definitely seems to have the upper edge so far. He himself is going into a tech lab on the barracks. Looks as though he's going to play Bio. So we're going to get a little bit of Bio versus Mech for game number 1 of this TvT. Something we saw a lot of yesterday between KeeN and Massa. So KeeN's Mech against Bio was pretty good then. We'll continue to see if that's going to continue to be the case. What's up, TLO coming in with the host as well. TLO is going to be playing Ufernal here in the next few minutes, maybe in about an hour or so, or half an hour. It's coming in after this best of 5, Ufernal versus TLO. So if you're joining us from TLO's stream, hello and welcome. We've got a little bit of TvT right now, but TLO will be on stream after this series. ByuN dropping in towards the main base while pushing at the front with the Cyclones, logging onto a Liberator, loses vision there as it goes behind the pillar. 9 SCVs going down though, and I mean, these are 9 SCVs which are really just huge. I mean, this is huge amount of damage being done. One of the Cyclones gets taken down here as he was focusing onto the medevac instead. Now this Viking's landing picked up even more kills. This Viking on 3 kills of his own, and it loads up, and Marine gets the final shot. 14 workers killed, and ByuN sitting 20 workers ahead. His own third CC now morphed into an orbital. This is 100% an income lead here from ByuN. If you look at the income graph, look at it start to rise. Okay, he has to pull away now if the SCV is being under pressure from a Liberator. So Liberator sets up, and we're going to see the couple of Cyclones coming over, and they will be able to get rid of this Liberator here. So Liberator will go down, and we're just going to be seeing the Mule dropping down as well onto this mineral line. So he's going to repair up these couple of Cyclones. The Cyclone's going to get a little bit of a repair here now. And we are going to see more Cyclones coming on over to the left-hand side as KeeN going to be looking to see what he can do in the next few moments. So a lot of these Cyclones up the left at the moment. 2 more factories just building up at the moment too, and we're going to see again Stimpak going to be finishing shortly. Combat shields coming on in. ByuN throws down the tech lab as well, and we are going to see the Cyclones starting to pressure at the front. Tank fire is pretty good so far. The tank's doing a lot here to clean this up. I mean, so many Cyclones have already gone down. Now if a couple more Cyclones of ByuN coming through, he's going to be able to push KeeN back with ease right now. And KeeN is going to be pushed all the way back there. Meanwhile, I mean, ByuN has combat shields about to finish in +1 armor, so his own bio play is going to start being very powerful very soon. KeeN did a great job of catching up on workers, but, well, is it going to be enough for him? Again, in terms of the overall income, it is ByuN who's had the largest spikes overall. Losing a lot of army supply there as well, and that's something which he was actually still doing kind of alright in. Obviously losing a lot of it now, as you can see a couple of Hellions and Cyclones moving on over to the third base. So we're seeing these 2 Cyclones of ByuN continue to fight this here. I mean, ByuN's actually going to pick up a couple of Cyclones, so if anything else, he still gets himself kind of equal trades right now as he pushes on forwards. And isn't even siege tanks 1 tank at the moment? I mean, 1 single tank is not going to stop this bio army pushing up a ramp and in towards the natural. Obviously, he should be supported by tanks as well. And this is just all looking troubling. An armory on the way. Is there not an armory yet either? Oh my god, KeeN is dead. Without an armory, he can't even morph in Hellbat, so how on earth is he going to protect these, well, any of these units? Enough units here to just move on forwards. The tank doesn't even get a shot off. SCVs pull in, but to what? Their death is the answer. ByuN crushes this first game of the series. Very solid, confident play from him. And he will go up 1-0 against KeeN. Loading up into this game. We start to the top left-hand side with our blue Terran player who leads right now, 1-0. Let's hear it if you're cheering on ByuN. He's up against the red Terran player. He was the player who 3-0'd ByuN in the first best of 5 of last year's Grand Finals to overcome the loser bracket disadvantage, but then obviously had to win another best of 3 and wasn't able to. It is to the top, bottom right hand side, our red Terran player, KeeN. Finally coming up, the second gas already from KeeN. ByuN just with the 1 gas, already looking as though his initial setup here is going to be looking to basically kind of be an expansion. So ByuN once again with the faster expansion. Starts on upright here, and we are going to be seeing ByuN just moving on over with the few units. Just getting this set up and ready to go. Factory is coming up about halfway done at the moment. Worth mentioning, of course, is we have a little bit of a slow start to this game. That the match arena page is still up there, guys. Still available for you guys to use your coupon codes on. Add $1 to the prize pool today for free. Will be part of the reason that this event is such a success. What's up, Jason Yee saying, "Hey, Wardy, thanks for the cast, and well, thanks for tuning in today. Thanks for being here. Thanks for joining me. Some great games. We've already had some fun games, and obviously we're going into even more of them right now. That's our third matchup of the day. As ByuN 1-0 up, starts this fight against the Reaper. Does either player really kind of coming out on top there? As we're going to be seeing the game there for a moment, just lagging, but we're back. We're recovering. Starport will start in the main base too, and we're just going to be seeing a couple of Marines on the way out. A Hellion will be popping very shortly as well. This Reaper down the left-hand side. We're going to see what it can do. We're going to see. I mean, ByuN is always doing this, actually. He did in the last game as well, poking around with his Reaper, and he will be able to slow down the CC. But he has to make sure he can defend his own natural at the same time. And that's where the Cyclone is going to become very useful here in time. He might just have to pull away in towards the main base for just a few moments. As that's already one SCV picked off there. These SCVs leaving plenty of time. Now he gets a good initial shot. In fact, it might get a Reaper already. Not quite, as now the Cyclone trying to lead the charge, but Marines start stepping forwards. And oh my god, this is a little bit troubling. Reaper does go down. Cyclone can be chased. The Hellion will keep up with it. This Reaper over here is going to pick up its second kill. Now gets a third. Nice damage done. ByuN is the play. He's on a faster expansion, pushing KeeN away from dealing any damage. And also dealing damage of his own. That CC is so slowed down. He gets worker kills as well. It's absolutely crazy. As you're going to see now, he actually kills the Cyclone too, and ByuN is just running away with this series. What on earth is happening for KeeN? Just the most basic of openers here is just doing absolutely nothing for him. He's not getting anywhere near he's not getting anywhere near to the damage which he needs at the moment. Somewhat disastrous for him, as Marines are going to come through the center of the map down towards that bottom right side. Going to start poking away at this CC, I would imagine. As you're going to see the Banshee in towards the main. Cloaks up the Cyclones in the main base as well, looking to see what else is happening. And again, the Marines of ByuN thinking about perhaps pushing on forwards once more. As you see Reaper and the Hellion fighting away right now. Skirmish continues. Gets a Reaper for the Hellion. I mean, that's a very minimal kind of thing right now. Is, oh my god, Cyclones are trapped. Not even just trapped, just picked off. Cyclone goes down, and the Banshee comes back from KeeN to defend this, but I mean, sending a Banshee home is never a great thing. The last thing you want is to be having to pull your Banshee home because you're having to defend. You're meant to be getting aggressive with this, as ByuN is the player who's still picking up worker kills, 5 worker kills. Going to be going up to 60 in a moment. See ByuN, just super incredible micro control, decision making. This is like the ByuN of old in a way. When I was casting, when ByuN kind of first made a comeback to online events, he was playing in a lot of W Star Masters throughout 2016, and he was in those tournaments. He was destroying players like Gumiho and Alive on a daily basis. KeeN as well, and he just looked so incredible in the TvT. There's a point where I think he was on like a 23 series streak in TvT in those tournaments against some very good Koreans, and I mean, he just had some incredible stats at those points. And this feels like the ByuN of old back then, where whatever you try to do against him just doesn't even begin to work. He's just one step ahead. He has everything planned out to know what he wants to do next. And he just keeps on putting himself in a great spot here. Gets 3 workers with this Liberator as well. Now a 20 worker lead in play. Scan at the front as he tried to get the Banshee. Unfortunately, he'll not quite be able to do that, but it's not like he needs to. This Banshee hasn't even been able to move across the map. How often do you see that? Banshees being made and they don't even get a chance to try and pick away the mineral line because they have to stay home to defend. It's almost like a TvT thing when you're getting attacked by a roach roll in. But ByuN again was the player to expand faster in this game. His third CC is already morphing in towards now an orbital command center. And KeeN hasn't even thought about building his. Honestly, I think KeeN might just go for this attack with Cyclones and Banshees, and if it doesn't work, he might just type out of the game. Because he really isn't in a great spot at all right now. Missile turret here just next to this siege tank will protect him from potential Banshees coming in to snipe it down. Couple of Vikings here too to protect. Even if that tank falls, there's another one on the low ground. It costs him 2 Banshees. You can already see the like Cyclones are never going to be able to do enough here. And that's going to be a good game. ByuN 2-0 lead already for a man who is just playing some insanely good Terran versus Terran at the moment. In the bottom right-hand corner of Ascension to Aya. Give it up if you're cheering for ByuN. Top left-hand side, our right Terran player. Let's hear it if you're cheering on KeeN. Our third game of the series so far now. Oh, sorry, my my music tag broke during the break. Sorry for that. Didn't tell you the song. It was Arabella by Arctic Monkeys. Sudoku is on point. Sudoku, Kadoken, Circa. No, if there's one thing I've really realized while streaming on Twitch, it's that goddamn is there so many ways to pronounce different names and stuff. It's insane. It's really insane. 3-0 for sure, says Galacticas. Yeah, it's definitely for my kind of feeling as well. KeeN has to do something incredible to get back into this, because it's not like he's just losing out in like long macro games or anything like that either. He's losing out in super fast-paced sort of ByuN completely outplaying him from the very first minutes of the game sort of scenarios. He's fallen behind early, and he is, because of that, staying behind, which is obviously pretty rough for him. Seems to be a little bit he needs to try and be a little bit cautious. Let's try and be very careful. Factory is starting on up here, and we are going to be seeing KeeN is making the changes, which I feel like he needs to make in this matchup at the moment. He's throwing down the CC much earlier, so a Reaper expansion rather than the double gas one base play. I mean, ByuN's doing the exact same thing as well. He's continued to do this too. I mean, so far, he's continued to put himself into a position where he's just said, well, you know, if this is working so well for me, I'm going to keep doing it because I'm taking huge leads. So, yeah, throwing down the expansion here as we see this Reaper just moving around, and a couple of Reapers out the front from KeeN, looking to see what's going on as well. Cyclone is on the way out from ByuN, another barracks as well actually, so very fast double racks and an engineering bay. They have a different way to set up, so it's going to be a very fast impact for him, and that does open some aggressive opportunities, with Stim finishing a lot earlier than they might usually expect. We'll see if that's something he can look to utilize here as this Cyclone moving forwards. We'll just be taking the front for now. Reaper up the left-hand side is continuing to scout around itself, see what indeed is going on, what's happening at the moment. I had it right with Sudoku. See, I should have just gone with what I believe. Shouldn't have changed it, should I? Shouldn't have started experimenting with other pronunciations. Ooh, ByuN's Reaper went into a bit of a weird spot there. A little bit of a misclick. Definitely not what we'd be expecting out of someone like ByuN, but sometimes little mistakes do happen. In terms of defending, he still does have this Cyclone at the front, so the Cyclone will be able to push those Reapers back. We are lagging a little bit here now in game number 3. We are definitely lagging just slightly at the moment as we do have that Cyclone. We'll come over to the right hand side to try and defend once again. We're going to see the Reaper already going down. I feel like this is just our lag on our end. We've been having this a little bit with the Asian service lately. Well, we've been a little bit jumpy, a little bit laggy. Scan into the main base, and we're going to be seeing that stim pack still coming up here. Again, that's one of the very interesting things right now for ByuN. This stim pack very early in the game allows you to be much more aggressive than you might usually be in a TvT with a lot of Marines. And that could definitely catch like KeeN off guard potentially. Because what is KeeN going to have in response to this? I mean, he's got a chunk of Cyclones so far. A couple of Hellions coming up as well. And I mean, the Cyclones are being good, but are they going to be good enough against stimmed Marines? Is there going to be enough of them? Going into mech here, KeeN is going to go double reactive factory for the moment. And he's building up the starport too, so just a mixture of Hellions and Cyclones for the meantime. And we'll get into tanks at some point. The medevacs are going to be loading up these Marines almost immediately. 16 of them are ready to go. 16 Marines jumping into the medevacs, and off and away ByuN heads. Now actually a Reaper on this right hand side watchtower has got some vision here, but it looks as though ByuN is going to fly through his own watchtower anyways. He's not going to be giving up that information. And just like that, ByuN is going to realize that perhaps the Reaper is going to be there anyways. Moves the Cyclone over to clean it out. So we still have the medevacs actually pulled back. He scans and he sees Cyclones and Hellions. Obviously for ByuN, that just says to him, okay, well actually I can't do any damage with this. So he pulls back right away. That's pretty near as we're going to be seeing Reaper going to try and get an SCV kill, which was moving down here. It's going to be a third base on location from our Blue Terran player. Meanwhile, the third base from KeeN is already finished in the main, so he can float that down when he feels comfortable. An armory coming up, Blue Flame and Siege Shank production, most importantly, has started. As Marines in the middle map of the map will be revealed by that Reaper coming back up and through the center. Still a lot of Marines just gather on the left-hand watchtower. Again, sorry for these lag spikes, guys. We were completely fine up until this game, so I'm not sure what the current issue is. It's a little bit spiky at the moment. ByuN will reinforce with a couple of tanks and more Marines coming out of the medevacs, and so we'll be able to push on forward. Already a Hellion getting picked off here. The barracks moving on down, and well, in a moment or so, ByuN will be able to make his move if he's got a move to make. I guess the kind of idea right now is just to keep the Red Terran player, keep the Mechan player off of, you know, his next expansion. Stop the you know, CC from dropping on down. Stop it from really being taken, and just forcing the mech player to spread out his units a bit more. And that could be when, of course, ByuN finds himself a chance to engage a little bit more easily. Tanks are beginning to siege up. A couple of Cyclones start moving in position. And going up here, actually, you can see that CC is already taking some shots. Will not go down though. Tank line is in position to defend. And as units continue to pull on back, a few more Marines going forwards and a siege tank as well. Still some Vikings up overhead. 5 Vikings. I want to try and think about maybe what they try and do here in the next few moments. There's, you see another Liberator moving forwards. And with the Liberator in air control, it's going to be a very easy pushback here from KeeN. Although ByuN is going to still try and hold this position. He is still quite confident perhaps about what he can do here. Once they really get this over, he tries to target it down again. Scan comes down, but a little bit too late. He will lose one siege tank already on siege, so again that Liberator will not do enough. Just a lone Cyclone off to the left hand side now. Marines and tanks for some medevacs as well from ByuN, just pulling back into the center. I love the fact that KeeN is starting to set up into some potential Hellion run by action himself as well. Getting that set up to come down the right hand side of the map here, so again, that's set up to come down the right-hand side. Do you see the siege tank and 2 medevacs going over to the left? He's picking off an SCV so far, and well, a Marauder or 2 will come in to try and defend this, but no because of shells or anything. So the Italians will find themselves in a mineral line, starting to do quite a bit of damage. So the Italians have already found 6 workers. More damage is continuing to be done here. 9 workers killed. The Marauders will find them cleaned up, but actually the Hellions are still not done. It's 12 workers in total. Nice play here so far. Well, KeeN getting some damage and keeping the Terran player, keeping the Bio player pinned back a little bit, stopping him from just running away with this game. I'm just going to be seeing the medevacs coming up to the top side. Meanwhile, a drop from ByuN was set up to the left. The medevacs didn't find a chance to go in towards the main base. The medevacs to the left found themselves a sensor tower, but that was about all for now. Cyclones continue to come forwards, another few siege tanks setting on up at the moment. Sensor tower coming on into play. Again, there's Bio Force of ByuN to the top. Just looking to see perhaps what is next. Some more Bio here from ByuN coming through the south and continuing to go to the left-hand side as well. And a lot of Halberds tanks, some Cyclones and Vikings. We'll see what's going to happen soon too. Tanks will siege up to this top side and nothing for them to really connect onto just yet. Still this army to the left-hand side as well from ByuN, which is looking around. Scan from KeeN. He wants to know just what is being kind of committed over here by his opponent. As KeeN's actually going to load, well not load up, but unsiege and move forward. So there's ByuN that just loaded up over on this top side. And we're going to start seeing a little bit of a base trade sort of scenario at the moment. Another scan here, and maybe ByuN sees an opportunity to drop on top of these tanks. Which he'll start to do, but then realizes that there's Hellions nearby. And now also dropping into the main base. So ByuN has found himself an opening that will get a lot of tanks in position. And now the entire army of KeeN has had to pull back to try and come and deal with this. A couple of Liberators try and come into the defend as the tank fire will do a lot against those Marines. The Vikings are going to clean up everything here to make sure that nothing gets out. So that's obviously a big part of this, is this is going to be a cleanup for KeeN so far in this third game. Now that he didn't fall behind super early, he's definitely having a better time holding on, continuing to defend, and all the rest of it. As Bio continue to come up through the center, so we're going to see a couple of Hellions, some tanks, etc. coming in as well. ByuN holding the center though will not allow KeeN to just run through here for free. And obviously with the Vikings and the Liberator, ByuN has to be very careful as well with how he actually positions himself. Still has these units to the left-hand side which he's moving forwards with. As KeeN continues his push in, you see those units trying to drop on top of those tanks, but unsuccessfully, especially with the missile turrets there. ByuN doesn't really have any way to deal with this at the moment. He's going to try and maybe hold this siege tank line. At some point he has to hold a position rather than pulling back always. And that's again where that Liberator can come into play, because the Liberator will be very good at pushing those siege tanks back. And already KeeN going to have to, ByuN, sorry, having to siege pull the tanks back here, and again just force the Liberator to reposition itself. But now there's more and more Liberators coming into play, so this gets more and more difficult. The scan from ByuN will get a couple of Hellions so far. The missile turret is all that's in range of this siege tank here, apparently. Extends forward with a few Marines will try and get rid of those libs. Knows it's important, because otherwise he will just be losing tanks again. And has to unsiege and pull back once more. A very frustrating position to play out. He has a fourth base to the right-hand side. Another CC building. ByuN's almost maxed out, but how does he ever engage into this mech army? He's bringing his units back from the left-hand side as well. It looks as though in a moment he's going to get ready to go. I love the introduction of the 4 into the bio play, because actually it can hit those Liberators from quite a distance. It will go a long way to helping out here, stopping those tank lines from being suppressed as easily. A Liberator will find itself on this mineral line up here, and that will force at least some sort of a response momentarily from KeeN. Finally, ByuN's going to find a way to kind of distract his opponent. Those Marauders are tucked into a corner, nicely placed for his Halberds to clean on up. Again, thanks to sieging here, and we are going to be having another few SCVs have dropped already. ByuN continuing up the right hand side, looking to see where he can go. Again, this Liberator denying a lot at the moment. It's actually going to be KeeN who starts pushing on in, especially as some tanks are in siege, and I'm not even sure where so much of ByuN's army is. KeeN takes a long time to siege with a lot of tanks though. He even has CVs being pulled into this, and that's never a good sign. But there is ByuN from the top side too, coming in from both angles here. He's going to be able to clean this up. Vikings have to lift back into the skies, realizing they're not going to do enough. And that is a defense here from ByuN. He pushes this back. Work is lost on both sides of the map as there's another tank. He will stem and he will pick it off here. He's able to take that down. I'm going to leave because maybe that will help us with this latency issue. Right now we have some issues. Definitely lagging a little bit. Man, I don't know what's going on, guys. Like, I really think it's just my connection to the server, because everything else is just fine. Something about trying to connect to the green server lately has just been creating so many spikes, and that's what you're seeing right now. Well, a bunch of Hellions down the right side, picking off an SCV already here. Trying to find a couple more as well already. A couple of kills, and Marauders and Marines will be able to chip away at a few more Hellions right now. 7 workers lost. ByuN moving up the left-hand side. Finally finding himself a way to break onto the map after that big push of the mech. Took up so much of his attention, so many of his units for so long just there. And he's going to come around the right once more as well, as we are going to be seeing. Units picking up a couple of Hellions. We've got 3 tanks here. Oh, I mean, this is not a good trade at all for ByuN. He's going to try and drop on top of one of the tank space, maybe. That's going to help to get 1 kill here, but that's about it. Flying Fortress will protect the other tank. Hellion run by his 15 worker kills over on this base. ByuN has to keep on replacing these workers just time and time again. Scan up there will get him a few SCVs and the siege tank with the tank line, which is quite deadly, but he knows the liberators are going to be coming. So ByuN actually evacuates pretty quickly, considering those libs only just CHW is already moving away. ByuN's army supply is staying up, but his economy really kind of hurting. Down 20 workers, and he needs to keep rebuilding those SCVs. He cannot afford for KeeN to take an eco lead in this game, because that's not how Bio versus Mech works. You're not meant to have eco lead as the Mech player. Well, unless you're going to be winning the game very convincingly. Rocks get taken down. We're going to be seeing these units continue pushing up towards this sort of position here. Tank's going to be sieging up again, and Flandry again is very, very low. The Bio continue to push forward in this Flandry. It's going to go down a tank as well. From there, it's going to be seeing a few SCVs, and the base just in general tonight is always great from ByuN. Well, up here, the Hellions are back in action though. ByuN is just being kept at a constant 45 to 50 workers. Never really been allowed to rebuild this eco. Those Hellion run-bys have been crucial for KeeN, keeping him very much in this game. As we have the Bio tanks pulling over to the right side as well. Another 4 here. I did like the introduction of the 4 too, just to help out with those liberators. It's very difficult to fight the air army when playing Bio. And especially because the air army of the meching play obviously has some upgrades already with vehicle playing. So much easier to try and fight with a 4 of your own just to help push back the libs. Vikings still moving around to see what's going to happen. Bio will stem forward here just as some tanks on siege. He's going to put himself in a nice little position, getting himself a couple of tank kills and sensor tower too. Those tanks are now going to try and siege, but they will all go down. Now the rest of the army starting to come in from the right hand side. KeeN was out of position, he loses a CC because of it. He loses a lot of his mineral line too. Consistent pressure from ByuN. He could maybe kite up to the left hand side, maybe afraid of reinforcing tanks. I think he's kind of just happy to just lift up and siege. Get out of here for a moment. Somehow the Liberator doesn't pick up a kill there, even though those tanks were heavily damaged. Tanks now going to siege, and oh my god, ByuN's going to get the jump on this army as it sieges up with a good spread up here. He's going to be able to clean up quite a lot of this, although Vikings will get rid of the last few medevacs, and now these Liberators will take a little while to make their way through this. The 4 tanking some of the shots at least will be able to save a tank or 2. Still an army to the right hand side as the Bio going to try and reinforce, going to try and join up together again. Still going through the center, is going to see tanks firing away. Oh, that's some tanks pushing on through into the middle of the map, and those tanks as they continue to drop. Well, now Bio coming from a couple different directions. Splitting up some of these units, we're going to be seeing tanks continue to go down. Looks as though KeeN is going to get broken here, and ByuN is looking to pick up the 3-0 to move on through into the championship bracket, looking to defend his title of the OSC championship from last year. It was a very impressive defense or hold of the title last year. ByuN has been in the grand finals of 2 OSC championships back to back. Lost out to Solar 3-1 in the grand finals of season 3. So you see ByuN coming all the way over to the left hand side. Sensor tower still set up here. All the tanks coming into location. Trying to leave the charge, but gets shut down pretty quick. KeeN gets tap out. ByuN just has too much. He was able to just survive. Insane endurance